the eyes. They truly are the windows to the soul. But what if you have no soul? What if you are a nocturnal demon that feeds on the blood of the living to sustain eternal life? What then? In the lore of AMC's Interview with the Vampire, there are 3 physical changes that occur when a human is turned. The nails become thick and long, the canines develop into sharp, retractable fangs, and the eyes completely transform color. This change in color is portrayed with the use of colored contacts that the show's cast say are notoriously hard to see in. There seems to be a lot of disagreement among fans when it comes to these colored contact lenses. Some say they look silly and tacky, and I kind of see where they're coming from, but I actually really like them. I think they make the vampires look the perfect amount of unsettling, almost triggering that uncanny valley feeling. Like, I know this is a human being, but if Lestat approached me in a Whole Foods, I would definitely be on edge. Each vampire in the show gets their own unique eye color, and I've always been curious if the colors mean anything about their characters. For example, does a vampire's personality affect their eye color? Is it passed down from maker to fledgling? So that's what we will be investigating today. Will I be reading way too far into this? Probably, but who cares? Why not indulge in some conspiratorial ramblings while we all wait to watch Sam Reed prance around on a stage? Let's go vamp by vamp, starting with the interviewee himself. When we first meet Louis, he is a human with dark brown eyes, but after turning into a vampire, they become what I would call a kind of forest green. There's actually a pretty simple explanation for Louis' eye color. He has green eyes in the books. Louis' character changes pretty drastically from the books to the show, but this is one visual detail that they decided to keep. Even the contacts that Brad Pitt wears in the 1994 movie adaptation are pretty similar to the ones that Jacob Anderson wears in the show, although they seem a bit paler green. Even though it's a detail taken from the book, I still think the green is a pretty fitting choice for Louis' character, mostly because it makes me think of money. Louis is the capitalist vampire after all, and most of his arc in Season 1 involves his struggles as a businessman, making money through questionable means. It seems in Season 3 we will be getting more businessman Louis as well. While Louis doesn't wear a ton of green in the show, it definitely still pops up from time to time in sweaters, trousers, and ties, and I cannot forget the most iconic green item in Louis' life, his coffin, which is lined in this green fabric that matches his eyes. Okay, diva! Louis' change in eye color is a physical manifestation of how he has changed as a person, and although he may be living as a truer version of himself, he still doesn't feel comfortable being vulnerable around his family. Every time he visits them, he hides his eyes behind glasses. When Grace insists he takes them off, she says,
"Your eyes, like a church window.
Same eyes, same me.
Different you, better you, I'd say."
This moment is both sweet and heartbreaking. Grace recognizes that her brother has changed. She doesn't know how, but she knows that he is better for it because he seems happier. But this change in Louis will eventually put strain on their relationship, with no help from his mother. As Grace grows less tolerant, she severs ties with him completely. It's very sad watching this once strong sibling relationship break down over time. Next, we have the brat prince himself, Lestat de Liancourt. The only footage we have of human Lestat comes from this very short clip from the Season 3 trailer, but we can assume that he just has Sam Reed's natural eye color, which is a dark blue. As a vampire, he still has blue eyes, but a more intense version. I have heard some fans say that they look violet in that one Comic-Con teaser they released a while ago, which I could kind of see. In the books, Lestat has... you know what? I'm just going to let him describe it for you. "My eyes are gray, but they absorb the colors blue or violet easily from surfaces around them." He's insufferable. I love him. So, I think it's safe to say that Lestat's eye color was also taken from the books. Tom Cruise is also wearing a similar blue-colored contact lens in the movie adaptation. This is an interesting choice because when I think of blue, I think of peace, calm, serenity. And well,
Don't laugh.
those are not really traits I would associate with this version of Lestat. But Lestat is the only character in the show that keeps an enhanced version of his own eye color, which could say something about his relationship to his humanity, how he seems to value it more than other vampires in this universe. However, this is more of a book characteristic that hasn't really been explored in the show yet, but it probably will be in Season 3. In Season 2, Lestat does recite something Magnus said to him when he was a human.
Ask for a child. The light's going out of your blue eyes. Like all the summer days are gone.
Magnus says this to Lestat while he's dying, telling him to ask for the dark gift. Lestat refuses, choosing to die instead, but Magnus turns him anyways. An example of Lestat's eyes being used in relation to his humanity. Unlike Louis, Lestat does wear quite a lot of blue in the first season of the show, especially light blue, which I think contrasts very nicely with the yellow and orange tones in his blonde hair. Next we have my girl, the vampire Claudia, or as I like to call her, Claudia de Pointulac de Liancourt de Pavier. So this is a little interesting because Claudia is portrayed by two different actresses, Bailey Bass in Season 1 and Delaney Hales in Season 2. After she is turned, Claudia's eyes become pink, but the pink seems to change a little between actresses. Bailey's eyes are more of a muted brownish pink, almost amber, but Delaney's eyes are pink. When she's wearing the teal eyeshadow with the baby Lulu costume, they look almost fuchsia. I'm not sure if they changed the color between actresses or if the contacts just look different on each of the girls, but something definitely changed. Do y'all see it too, or am I losing my mind? Claudia's eyes in the book are described as strikingly blue, which makes this our first change in eye color from the books to the show. I think I know why they did this, but we will talk more about this later. When I think of pink, I can't help but think about its association with femininity. I know the way we gender colors is completely arbitrary, but it can't be a coincidence that the main female vampire in the show has pink eyes. I think it fits her character too. So much of Claudia's character is about her complicated relationship with femininity. In her early life, she revels in it. She's a girly girl who loves her dads, loves to dress up, to write about her crushes in her diary, to collect trinkets, even if those trinkets are a little morbid. But as she gets older, she struggles with the fact that she will never be seen as the adult woman that she is. Her body becomes a prison as she is forced to stay a perpetual teen with no companion of her own. Claudia is also lacking any female companionship in her life. The first female vampire she ever meets tries to kill her, the second kills herself in front of her, and when she finally meets a coven full of vampiresses, they humiliate her by making her play Baby Lulu. This is why I love her relationship with Madeline. Although Claudia's ending was tragic and unjust, there's beauty in the fact that she found her immortal companion in another woman.
Claudia, you have eyes like my windows.
Out of the three unholy family members, I think Claudia wears her color the most. This girl wears a ton of pink, with a good amount of red as well. However, in Season 2, she ditches these colors for more yellows, purples, and greens. Also, she keeps in tune with Louis by having the inside of her coffin lined in a pale pink fabric that matches her eyes. Ugh, my beloved Claudia. Haunt that narrative, girl. Next, we have Armand de no last name. We have not seen human Armand yet, but we can assume that he has Assad Zaman's beautiful brown eyes. As a vampire, his eyes are bright orange. Armand actually has brown eyes in the books, so we have another case of changing eye color here. However, in the 1994 movie adaptation also changes his eye color to dark red. I think Armand's are the most intense of the show, since he always has this cool and calm demeanor. I like that they hint at this hidden intensity bubbling under the surface. They remind me of the eyes of a cat, big, intimidating, watching prey, careful, and calculating. In Season 1, Armand actually uses contact lenses to hide his eyes so he can disguise himself as a human. You can actually see him taking them out in the scene where he reveals himself to Daniel. And when Daniel recalls seeing Armand in San Francisco, the main difference he remembers is his eye color. I can't think of many connections between Armand's character and the color orange, other than the intensity I mentioned before. He doesn't wear much orange. When he does, it's usually a burnt, muted orange, like his vest in the mansion scene. I will say though, Louis and Armand's bedroom in Dubai is basked in orange lighting, which could show Armand's influence over Louis even in their personal spaces. One bonus observation about Armand's eyes: they vibrate when he's angry. It only happens twice, one when he confronts Lestat in Paris, and the other is right after Louis walks into the sun in San Francisco. This is such an insanely cool detail to me. I like that Armand is the only one in the show who has this trait. It really emphasizes that this guy is in another league when it comes to power, like he's literally vibrating with it. The first time I noticed this in season 2, episode 5, I knew that this episode had the sauce. Lastly, we have Daniel, Armand's firstborn and only child. As a human, Daniel has gray eyes. It's kind of insane that both Eric Bogosian and Luke Brendan Field, who plays the younger version of Daniel, have a similar eye color. Like, that British boy was really made to play Daniel Malloy. We only get to see Vampire Daniel in a very short scene in season 2 and a cameo in the Talamasca show, so it's a little hard to see his true eye color. Thankfully, Eric posted this very unsettling picture on Instagram that confirms that Daniel's vampire eyes are a light orange. From what I read online, Daniel in the books has violet eyes. I think having a purple-eyed vampire in the show would be really cool, but I'm okay with the orange too. I don't have a whole lot to say about Daniel's eyes. I can't really find a connection between him and the color orange. He never wears it, and I can't think of how it ties into his character in any way other than how it relates to his maker, Armand. One last thing I want to mention about Daniel's eyes. At the end of the season 2 finale, Daniel takes off his glasses after being turned into a vampire, and for a split second, it looks like his eyes change from gray to orange. I have seen some people debate this online, whether this is a power Daniel has inherited from his insanely powerful maker, or if it's just a trick of the light. Let me know what you think it is. So, are vampire eyes genetic? And I don't mean that in terms of actual genetics. I mean, can a maker pass their eye color to a fledgling when giving them the dark gift? Let's start with the vampire with the most fledglings in the show, Lestat. Good God, please somebody get this man on some birth control. Lestat turns Louis and Claudia, who, as we established before, have green and pink eyes, respectively, so not much correlation there, unfortunately. However, Lestat turns Antoinette, and it seems like she has blue eyes similar to his. This is pretty fitting, considering she was never really her own person, just an extension of Lestat, a tool meant to be used by him and then discarded. Lestat also turns Nikki, as we see in the flashback in Season 2, Episode 3. He has reddish amber eyes that remind me a bit of Claudia's in Season 1. This is pretty interesting considering that Sam Reed has said that a lot of Lestat's anxieties surrounding Claudia has to do with his trauma from Nikki. But there's another fledgling we should talk about. I'm about to mention spoilers for Season 3, just information from the books that will likely be adapted in the show, so if you want to stay surprised, skip to this time code. Okay, so if you've read the book, you know that Lestat turns his mother, Gabrielle, into a vampire while she's on her deathbed. In a teaser, we get a very quick glimpse of her up close, where she seems to have blue eyes similar to Lestat. This is so interesting to me, considering Lestat and Gabrielle are linked both as mother and son and maker and fledgling. They also have a concerningly close relationship. Let's just keep it at that. In the teaser, we also get a glimpse of Lestat's maker, Magnus. His eyes look pitch black, which definitely makes him stand out among other vampires in the show. There's one thing I want to mention about Magnus. Put on your tinfoil hats for a second. You may have noticed throughout the show that vampire eyes will dilate when a vampire is feeling love, euphoria, or intense anger. Sometimes you can even see it happening in real time. I have noticed that when Lestat is angry, his eyes get so dilated that they almost look completely black, similar to Magnus. And then I am reminded of this line.
I'm burdened with my maker's temper.
I need to be sedated. Now we move on to Louis, who has one fledgling in Miss Madeleine Epavier. We only get Vampire Madeleine in a few scenes, but she seems to have yellowish eyes. Although they don't relate to Louis' own eye color, yellow is a particularly important color for Madeleine. When Louis is turning her, he has a vision of Claudia basking in yellow sunlight. She also dresses Claudia in yellow dresses, so not related to Louis's eye color, but still thematically relevant. Lastly, we have Armand and Daniel. As I mentioned before, Daniel has orange eyes, just like his maker, although Daniel seemed to be a lighter orange color. I can't help but think there has to be a link here. In Armand's 500 plus years of vampirism, Daniel is the only fledgling he has ever made, and that fledgling just happens to share his eye color. Who's up doubling their minion right now? But seriously, I'm very interested to see how they tackle Daniel and Armand's relationship in season 3 because I know it will end up being one of the most interesting in the show. So now that we've combed through everything there is to say about eye color in this show, how each eye color could relate to their characters, both in style and symbolism, how eye color could link a vampire to their maker, it's time to answer my initial question. What does it all mean? In this interview with Howard Berger, who was one of the special effects artists on the show, he had this to say about the vampires' designs. We didn't want viewers thinking, oh, all the vampires have the same eye color, or all the vampires' teeth are all this way. They're very individual, and that was really important to the show. We springboarded off of, again, what Anne Rice wrote about Lestat and Louis in the books, and then we just spread that across the board with all the other vampires. So everybody is very individual and distinct. So the main priority was making sure that each vampire's eye color made them distinct from one another and not to unveil some deeper truth about a vampire and their parentage. Does this kind of negate everything I just said? Yes, but I'm okay with that. After all, the show makes it clear that the dark gift is different for everyone. It is supernatural in nature, and the randomness adds to the mystique of it all. I love the unholy family, but I don't think Claudia needs to have Lestat's blue eyes for us to know that he's her maker. She's her own person, and she doesn't need to be defined by her relation to Lestat, just how Lestat doesn't need to be defined by his relation to Magnus. Plus, look at her. Do we really need to question whose kid that is? Lestat, you are the father. There's so much thought that goes into the show, and I think giving all the main vampires their own unique look is a great idea, even if it doesn't really end up meaning anything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a little bit of a shorter one. I wanted to try something that didn't take me 3 months of research this time, and it was really fun. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. If you have any unique theories about vampire eyes, I would love to hear them in the comments, or tell me what you are most excited for in season 3. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!